And in your packet, you have two sets of minutes. The minutes from the regular business meeting. If anyone's had a chance to take a look at that, I'll take a motion to accept those.
When you say, so you mean the regular meeting?
Regular meeting.
I'll make that.
Okay, motion by Bob.
I'll second.
Second by Terry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then also we have minutes in the packet from the audit committee.
We did make that one tweak, Kristen.
Yeah, I see that, so. Yeah, I will make a motion.
Okay, motion by Kristen.
Second.
Second by Darlene. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, treasurer's report, Kristen.
All right, we'll start with the income statement on the third page. And the income this month was from interest of about $4,600, with expenses of about $22,700, leading to a monthly net loss of $18,000. Attorney's fees of $8,000, and that included some of the work that was done on, I think, Yahoo that hadn't been built, that was booked. The purchase of land for $2,200.
That's the surveys we had done on properties in the IDA park.
And then I think there was annual dues.
To invest from
Yeah,
that.
5,000. So going backwards to the cash statement of transactions. Again, as on the income statement, there is cash received with interest of $4,626. Cash disbursements of $14,258 to a cash balance at the end of March of about $1.7 million. So flipping forward to the balance sheet, you see the cash balance of about 1.7. Accounts payable of $8,495. And it's all good balance sheets too. The assets equal the liabilities and
At least they should, right?
Exactly.
Those accounts payables were the quarterly attorney and quarterly CFO payments. So yeah.
And I know that interest have been increased last year. What interest rate are we getting these days? Do you know, like 4% or
3.5? I think. Yeah.
Steady, right?
Yeah.
All right, nice. All right, take a motion to accept the financial statements as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Second motion by Janine, second by Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Alright, and then approval of the invoices and bills, which is on the back of the packet. And again, as we had been saying, the first quarter for Seaman Morris, the first quarter for or the monthly contract for Town of Lockport, and then the annual funding commitment for the Earth Dimensions are the biggest ones. Boundary survey for $1,425 for a total April payment of $20,483.60. Any questions on that?
No.
All right, and I call for approval.
Yep, we got a motion by Kristen to approve the invoices. Second by Darlene. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on. All right.
I'm trying to remember what I said it to you. I'll start off by reminding everybody that we originally on the agenda had a kind of our initial first presentation from Buffalo Transformer Services. And I had met with him Chad about a week, 10 days ago, and went over a variety of his items and kind of teed up his presentation, only to receive an email, and I'll speak more generically, that kind of at the 11th hour, from my perspective, he realized that the cost for construction was much more significant than he thought, and as a result, his ability to obtain financing at that cost of construction was also kind of a no-go. I mentioned that just to realize what happened to our presentation, but two, I think, not necessarily the tip of the iceberg, but I think that that's unfortunately becoming, as I talk to my peers, more of a 2024 story than you'd like to hear in both those arenas. It's difficult to get financing in general right now, and then as folks are bumping up against much more significant construction costs than they necessarily thought. it's if nothing else delaying things. So we're not immune from those kind of scenarios. I think in Buffalo Transformer Services, I think the only way he gets his to work is to buy a existing building. There is one that may be potentially becoming available that we've made him aware of, but other than that, certainly in his case, we'll kind of put a damper on his ability to expand. But that's what happened there. You can see, well, you can barely see, but it's a little mini HP, but the new live stream PC and speaker upgrade. At least we'll get to use it once in here before we relocate, but that's good to go. Speaking of relocating, in your packet, you should find, what is it now?
Packet is empty.
Yeah, apparently I gotta go, because I need it for myself. I'm waiting to see if that other quote came back.
It's on the printer.
Things are pretty good.
Anyone go to the new Pizza Hut?
Not yet.
Yeah.
I'm very happy, sir. The one that's knocked down.
Well, it's funny, they were going to open, the same week they ripped down the old one, so it's like, we're never going there.
Right. So sad to see the old one get knocked down.
Yeah, I think they
It
just
should have been a nice
remodeled it
restaurant. Right.
before they closed it.
An oil change.
Oil change place.
Oh, is that what's funny?
Right in the middle.
Right next to.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah, right next to
Right
your
next to
house.
your house too.
Yeah, weird.
Oil strange, especially when you see the Valvoline guys on transit
Talking,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
And then we hit the mobile right there, man.
Right.
Sorry about that. So just by way of summarizing it, we have rented two small suites across the street in the Dysinger Town Square, I guess it's referred to. Our suites are in the far east end under what's referred to as that modern suites. I think there's a total of 13 suites in there. To facilitate that move, as you can see how we were constructing it, we do need desks, and because of the size of the space, the desks are somewhat pretty unique. You have all the broader details in there, but let me just say that because it was going to be over 1,000 but under 5,000, I needed two quotes. We ended up going to Eaton's in Mid-City. Eaton's is the lesser expensive. On each item, there's 36 by 24 corner desks, two 24-inch returns, and then just a hanging pedestal box. So I think if we approve purchase from Eaton's not to exceed $1,900, we should be fine, including delivery and installation. So that'd be
That's for two, one for you, one
correct.
for Cory.
Yeah.
2 desks. I would just say ask for that to be contingent on attorney approval of the contract, and then we should be all set.
And by the way, we purchased them in the quality, but also the color scheme that I think Pat's considering for the new space, so that they can come with us. They certainly will be usable in the new space as well. So,
And then how long will it be? When?
but yeah, I would follow up on that then. The other nice part about this, regardless of which firm we chose, was probably like a 7 to 10 day delivery. So as soon as I know that date, the next steps would be to schedule Synchronet to run some internet cables. The head end from Spectrum is in a closet fairly nearby us, so they really will just run one outlet, if I can use that phrase, into Maureen Suite and one into mine. The day before we move, we'll use the highway guys for that. Toshiba will come and kind of like ramp down the whole 3-in-1. They wrap it in bubble wrap, and then the next day they come and set it all up.
We can
for you.
across the street.
That's not- I've done that.
Maybe those troopers can help do that too.
Exactly. Exactly. So I've been saying like 24th or 25th of April, just in general, just to get all those. We'll also have a tech from the voice over IP phone guy come down and set those up. So the only main difference for us, and I've not heard which direction they'll go, is will we suddenly have all of our files go up into the cloud and not be on the town server, or will they kind of dial up a VPN and we'll still come into the town server to access our files because they all sit on that. So that's the only piece I don't know, but Synchronet will let us know what they decided. I've let them know like 8, 10, 12 months kind of a time frame so they don't come up with something that they think we're going to be there for 2 weeks or something. And, so that's probably the likely date, and I'll let you know.
So a couple things I wanted to add. Number one, the town pays for that rent. The town supplies the building to the IDA. So the town board took an action to approve that rent over there, which is surprisingly cheap. It's like $600 a month on a month-to-month lease.
Yeah.
So it's almost like that. No brainer. Across the street. And I haven't looked at it, but obviously the town has.
It's fine.
Our next month meeting then will be held over there, Tom?
Well, no, we talked about that. I mean, our plan is to hold these meetings in the big town room over here. And I've also talked to Synchronet about, hey, thanks for setting this all up. But by the way, we need you to come and set up in a non-obtrusive way the live stream camera and little mini. You can see how unobtrusive it really is. So no, at this point, and I'll confirm that, we'll be over there. So I don't know if we need to do some kind of permanent notice to folks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We're gonna have to do something.
Yeah.
Do you not have space over there, Tom?
I don't, certainly not in the space we are. There is a conference room at the exact opposite end of the building. My memory is that it's a bit tight, but I can take a quick look at that. The only issue is that conference room is available for everybody, and so not that I think it'd be a huge risk, but leaving our stuff in there for the monthly live stream.
That's probably
Think
not
about
a
it.
bad idea.
And I
for the
did-
foreseeable future.
And then if you have public hearings,
Right.
everybody,
Yeah,
you
you're not-
have room
So
to-
town board meetings have to be streamed. Can't we use their equipment?
I was thinking the same thing. It's LCTV
LCTV.
equipment they have set up.
Yeah. It really shouldn't be that hard for Synchronet. It really wouldn't be all that obtrusive. I did also check to make sure that the second Thursdays don't tend to have any conflicting meeting over there, so that we'll bump into anybody. So, but I'll certainly let you know, A, when we move, and B, if that's the plan. But that's kind of the working sort of plan at this point.
So two motions, I think. One would be for your purchase that we haven't gotten to, but I think it would be a good idea for the board to take a motion to cause all of the future monthly meetings in the foreseeable future until, from here until there's any change to take place in the town hall building, and to cause a notice to be placed in the paper and a notification to be put out to the local newspapers, and then we could do that. We'll put a notice in the paper. Hear that moving forward.
All right, we'll take the motion that all future meetings in the foreseeable future will be at the town hall starting next month. All right.
1 second.
Motion by Darlene, second by Kristen. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then the second motion is to approve or authorize Tom to spend up to $2,000 on office furniture contingent on review and approval by the town attorney.
I'll make that motion.
Second. All right, motion by Janine, second by Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. And just the last piece about that is if you notice out here, we've kind of begun our move. I'll be honest and say we've done the easy parts, like going through cabinets we've never been in and boxing up things that
Little
will
trinkets.
go someplace else. But I haven't done like my desk yet, which will be really difficult. We haven't gone around to say, throw these paintings out, keep these in storage. Hey, we'll take those with us. The interim home of the TV is a little bit up in the air still at this point, but we'll figure it out. I block your shelving that you're going to put in. But, all right, just to quick through these other ones. Not unlike all previous years, our Paris submittal must have been run through a kind of the, I don't know, variant software, if I can use that phrase. And I think there were 3 questions. One made sense because I don't know how it happened. I think I just typed too fast, but there was a typo where I had put in the county's real property tax assessment, like $26.80, and it was $6,128.80. So 2 digits got left off, and so it makes it look like, wait a minute, the pilot's more than the property exemption. So they opened it back up for me to fix that one typo. The other ones are just super frustrating. How come Yahoo has sales tax exemptions beyond 2 years? I even went into last year's file and found the exact wording I used from that question a year ago, but we get that every year. And then the other one that drives me nuts is, why did these people pay more pilot payments than were due? What's the other option other than the fact that they had a late fee, So we quickly answered that as well. So anyway, those are done in the can. You guys all got sent the wetlands delineation report. They have, Earth Dimensions has reached out to both the state DEC and Army Corps of Engineers to see where they're going to stand on their next steps, if you will. The worst part for us is, the DEC often wants to apply kind of the most, I'll call it, conservative buffer that eats into some of the developable land. But it'll be interesting to see, just because, there has in the interim been that Supreme Court decision, and most of those wetlands are under the authority of the Army Corps. So we'll see. But anyway, those kind of requests to review our recent study and probably make a site visit has happened. We have awarded to the archaeologist the SHPO cultural contract. I'm not aware of him doing field work to date. Obviously, there can't be snow and stuff, but he should be beyond that. I am going to make kind of our economic development annual report presentation to the town board. I think it's next week, and then in May, make a quick, 5-minute presentation to the town board, quote unquote, at their public evening meeting. That's interesting only in the sense that we tend to go beyond the industrial and pick up all the retail changes that have happened. And there's a lot notable this year with the hospital coming online and a lot of those investments. So it might be a tad bit more interesting than previous years. Had the privilege of being at the town of Lockport's bicentennial reenactment just last week, I think, right? And that was interesting from a history perspective. There are a few other things of note. Jean might be aware of this, but the council and supervisor have been invited to be like guest lock tenders at their first kind of, is it in May?
Demonstration.
I think it's in May, isn't it?
18, 17, yeah, somewhere in there.
So if you're interested in seeing folks do the,
May 18th.
they'll be down there doing that as well. Lastly, you saw in the financials that we did get surveys done of not only the remaining parcel on Junction Road that allowed Tom to move forward with the sales and purchase agreement, which we can talk about, but also what was the residual land right here, after the 2 acres on the corner. That's still got an interested party that I've sent that survey to. I've not heard back from them. It is an entity that we've had some initial discussions with as well. So, for the number of years, somehow we operated without surveys, which I always found difficult to say to someone, oh, would you like to build a 20,000 square foot building? I guess it would fit on this acreage. I guess it would meet all setbacks and so on. Granted, that gets ferreted out during the planning board, but still, you'd like to have someone give a sense that, it's kind of a viable scenario for them. So there are really only 2 parcels that we have in the survey, which I think kind of makes sense. This one that's landlocked, that probably really belongs with up north, and then that one up there, we haven't bothered to survey, but they are what they are. Kind of realize how they're, I'll say, both landlocked, if you will. So that was, I don't think I added one other item, but, oh, yeah, I did, see. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday before Memorial Day, I am planning on attending the Economic Development Annual Meeting in Cooperstown. And we always like to get approval for that. I would say, not to exceed $2,000. I have prepaid the registration fee and reserved the 2 nights in the neat little lakefront hotel down there.
Are you going to Otisaka?
The meetings are there.
That's
but,
right. I'm going next week.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm not
So,
staying there. Long ago, I realized that's outrageous for $300-400 a night.
so are you staying at that cute little motel?
Absolutely.
It is beautiful.
Well,
We stayed there. When my husband said we're staying at a motel, I'm like, it's gorgeous. We had a fireplace. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and it was cheap. It was like $75 a night or something.
Oh,
like that.
no, but still, it's less than a 2-block walk, and most times that's weather conducive to a 2-block walk.
Late May.
So yeah, I do need approval for that.
All right, we'll take a motion to approve up to $2,000 for the annual New York State meeting for town's attendance.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Janine,
Oh, second.
second by Terry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
To show how easily amused I am, the Thursday night they have they call it a Taste of New York dinner. I won't play with that part, but there's usually a speaker, and you all know how a wine psycho that I am. The speaker is Joseph Cock, the lead winemaker for Josh Cellars. And a lot of people drink Josh wines, and I couldn't figure it out, but he actually, I didn't realize, got his start in New York. Obviously made his way out to California and maintains a home here somewhere in upstate, probably the Finger Lakes, if you will. So, that should be a really interesting discussion.
Cool.
And maybe they'll use his wines, even though they're not New York wines. They'll have a special dispensation for that evening or something. But, looking forward to it. That's it for me.
Okay, all right, thanks, Tom. Attorney's report. Tom?
Yeah, the only thing on the agenda is the continued negotiations with Bison Bag for their land purchase. Everything's moving along. I got them over their contract a few weeks ago after our last meeting. I did receive some comments back from their attorney mid last week, but nothing really to speak of that's outrageous or anything. Just a few little things. So that's moving forward. One thing that they had mentioned, we have a clawback in there that they need to begin their project within a couple of years, and they were asking for additional time, like 5 years, which I thought was interesting. But Bison, their plans change sometimes. Full speed ahead and then slow down. So I'm not sure. Maybe they're running into issues economically, Tom had discussed earlier, in terms of costs. But I'll reach out and speak to them in the near future. Otherwise, it's moving forward as expected. That's pretty much it. Everything else is kind of just where it is in terms of both SIVA Plastics and SIVA the wind and things are kind of
Hold.
yeah, I wouldn't say hold. They're just balls in their court, and they're moving through things that they're moving through. I know that they're making additional applications for federal grants and things like that.
Easy grant, yeah.
So it's just continues to be a slow process.
All right. All right.
And that's it.
Thanks, Tim.
Welcome.
Any old business? New business?
I had on the news just two things. One, I didn't realize I put the annual meeting down there, but we took care of that already. As we get ready to move, there are two copiers. One's a LaserJet, and the other one's a nicer copier. I'm trying to convince the supervisors, admin to take the much nicer Canon, but it doesn't make sense to move the HP LaserJet Pro 400 over, so we would need approval to dispose of that. I see like 150, 200 out there on eBay and stuff, so we'll see what we,
So we own that,
do.
it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, no, those have been sitting. I think we went to the Toshiba probably my first year here, so neither one of them have been used. But there's toner available for both of them and everything. So for sure, we'll get rid of that small HP LaserJet 400, but do need a motion to.
Yeah, you just need a motion to declare that to be surplus property and to authorize the administrative director to dispose of it at his discretion.
I'll make that motion. All right, thank you.
I'll second it.
Motion by Bob, second by Terry. Exactly what our legal said. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The other thing I have is, speaking of Weisenbach, I don't know if I showed you this yet. There's the potential question of, remember how we expanded Commerce Drive to the point where these dotted lines are. There is still room left in our property to get that road right up to Weisenbach's parcel line, which may help them during construction and so on. And maybe it's premature at this point, but we did get a cost estimate of $4,917 from the town highway department to do that. It's actually a 34-foot wide by 45 feet long, approximately, section of the roadway that could finalize that extension right up to that property line and probably replace the same kind of.
This is an internal cost from the town.
Correct.
Okay.
That sounds very reasonable.
Exactly.
It's an extension of a town road, so it's really
They
I
did
would
the
think it
work.
would be a
Is
town
there already
project
a
itself.
town expense?
Yeah, the town
Is there
did-
stone pad down in that section?
And there's
No, they still did that. But they did the work themselves. They were the ones that did the much longer extension,
Right.
and they even ditched that. There are not plans to ditch the sides of this, but
yeah, so that's the total for materials.
yeah,
Well, that's good to
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Will you do my driveway?
know.
I was gonna say, a driveway would be 3 times that.
It doesn't include, that does not have any of the costs for labor
Labor.
because it's the internal highway department.
Yeah.
Is doing it. So that would be an actual cost for the town. The town would take that on themselves.
Yeah.
If it happens, I expect that they would do that.
So we'll
So we
keep
could
an
split
ear.
that town, we would.
I don't think that
Or
the
they
IDA
can
would
check
have to pay for that. I think the road there is a dedicated road to the town already.
Okay.
And it would be an extension of the dedicated road the town owns. So I would anticipate the town would likely take on that expense.
Okay. Okay.
We'll keep an ear
It
to
is-
what Bison's up to and see, when's it make sense to.
Right. It is a touch premature just because.
Yeah.
But, once they do start moving and they're going to want it because I believe that they want that access to be able to construct the building. Which is I thought at one point that was the only reason why they wanted the access, but the last time I spoke to them, they actually want to maintain that access for maintenance in the winter as well. So there are a few questions
Yeah.
about,
Does it need
is
to
there
be
going to
this
be a
way?
gate?
I can double check with them. At this point, not really. It really didn't seem to need to be.
Probably not for us. Our section is not long that we would be extending on.
When they build, are they gonna break out to town line?
Oh, they are. Okay.
Yeah. To Junction? Yeah.
Oh, it's Junction. Okay.
It's Junction. They have one of their main questions is gonna be the intersection up here. That's actually hidden. But that intersection with Upper Mountain and Junction is state controlled roadways. And there's engineering requirements for distance, site distance for them to be able to make that curb cut. So I know that that's going to be a major early issue for them to sort out with the DOT is that curb cut on Junction. But yeah, absolutely, that's their intent.
Just got two super little simple things for exactly that point.
Okay. All right. At this point, I'll take a motion to move into executive session for consultation with attorney.
So moved.
Motion by Darlene, second by Janine. All in favor?
Aye.
Carrie. And let's see, next meeting is Thursday, May 9th. I'm actually unable to make that. Darlene, are you able to run that meeting as vice chair?
May 9th. Yes.
Okay. All right, super. Thank you. And then if anyone has any issues with making that meeting, since I won't be there, let Tom know just to make sure we have a quorum.
We'll obviously confirm the location before.
All right, sounds good.
Or to our offices afterwards. Be underwhelmed.
Take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Terry. Second by Janine. All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
All right.
Efficient.